What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy back with another one. People, in today's video, we want to discuss the divisions that are being sown within the Afrikaner and white community. Are these divisions warranted? Let me know what you think about this topic in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we family, right? Holler. People, the recent landing of 49, some are saying 59, Afrikaners in America has caused a huge uproar in America and in South Africa and indeed across the world. A lot of people are talking about it on social media saying, is it fair? Is it right that people who are not actually being persecuted, people who are not actually being genocided, are getting first preference, are getting preferential treatment, are getting fast-tracked to US citizenship and benefits? Now, the biggest critics of this move are obviously people of color, right? Latinos, Black Americans, Africans, South Africans, Black South Africans, white South Africans, and other Afrikaner groups. So, this landing of the Afrikaners in America has caused division in the white community, within the Afrikaans community, to be precise, right? And is this division warranted? That's my point. And to be honest, I feel like the division is warranted because not only not only did this specific group of Afrikaner people, led by let's let's not forget, AfriForum was at the forefront of this whole movement, right? So AfriForum decided they were going to go to America, go and lobby support, go and lodge their case there of reverse apartheid, racism, and all this unnecessary nonsense that they decided to go and air in America. I'm surprised that AfriForum actually backtracked on their initial move, because actually when people started calling them out to say there is no apartheid, there is no reverse apartheid, there is no genocide happening, even they came out with a statement to say there isn't a genocide happening. People, you know what is so sad, right? What is so sad is seeing fellow Afrikaner people coming out and saying, speaking up, and lambasting, lambasting the Afrikaners who, the Afrikaans speaking people, or the Afrikaans speaking community who support the genocide theory, right? Do you know what's, there's this video circulating of this Afrikaans guy, right? Who actually called out the Afrikaans people who went to America and who actually are supporting the move to America, right? By saying it's white privilege and not genocide, but white privilege at play. And the mere fact that they do not want equality and they see equality as a form of racism is a major problem. Now, people, let's be honest. Let us be honest for a second, right? And let's try and see it from both sides of the coin. Okay, so let us start with the African side, right? For 40 plus years, right? You you've enjoyed, and I'm not saying every specific person has enjoyed that because a lot were born after apartheid, right? So we cannot blame those that were born after apartheid, right? But let's just talk about the history, right? We're not going to now try and separate and mention individually, right? Because will take forever, right? Let's just take the history of apartheid, right? So for 40 plus years, we know what apartheid was like. We know who benefited. We know what the rules were about, all about exclusion, taking land. We all know about that, right? That is evident. It is well documented, right? Fast forward to 1994, right? New dispensation, new rules come in. Obviously, you want to address the imbalances. That's what the government needs to do of the day, right? So, if we have to take the laws that governed the apartheid regime, right, and we compare those laws, law by law, one for one, each law, right, the 148 laws that they say is it 146, 147 laws, racist laws that are now governing the current South African regime, like they say, right? If we have to put each law side by side with the three racist laws that they said only governed apartheid, with the three racist laws, apparently some are saying there's only three laws, right? Cool, let's just say there's three laws, like they say, right? People, black people were removed from land, moved to homelands, to unworkable, sandy, rocky areas. Is that happening in the current South Africa? No. People, in the old South Africa, specific jobs were reserved for whites only. Is that happening in the current South Africa? No. In the old South Africa, you couldn't marry whoever you wanted interracially. Is that currently happening in the current South Africa? No. So we cannot compare the apartheid laws to the current laws of the country. Right. As much as they want to say BEE is discriminatory, cool. Let's go with that narrative. BEE is discriminatory. Okay. How is BEE discriminatory if BEE in its essence is trying or was actually introduced to address the imbalance of the past? I mean, let's talk about employment equity. If we are now saying we are trying to fill in gaps where there's whites only, how do you expect to do that? Right? Is that racism? If you get a white only, I'm just giving an example, right? Let's just say you get a white only company or top management of companies is only white. How then can we address that without it being labeled racism? How? Employment equity, affirmative action has been called racist. Affirmative action has been called racist. BEE has been called racist. Um, Land expropriation has been called racist. So, which law, what type of law can be implemented to try to address the imbalances without it being labeled racist? That's the first thing, right? The division is coming because there are those that seek to keep the old system in place, right? And for what? For for self-preservation, I guess. For this hierarchy type of system where certain people are viewed or seen as superior or better than, or is it because the older system worked better for them and only specifically catered to a specific group? And is that why they want the old system to remain in place? Then there's a second group that agree that there were so many atrocities, physical atrocities and non-physical atrocities that happened in the past. Those need to be addressed. So now how do you address these things without them being labeled as racist? How? That's just the thing. So anything you try to do to try and change the status quo is labeled racist. Is that fair? Now the second group that's saying, wow, well, we've had our time in the sun. We've milked the system for all it was worth. We did the most we can with what we have, and we did take the majority share of whatever was there. We took, we looted, we enjoyed, we still have those things in our possession. So it's time we shared our spoils from the past. So the two camps, and I'm literally just only talking about white people here, right? The divisions within the white community. If you're white and you are speaking up against white supremacy, you are viewed as a traitor. You are seen as a black lover. And it's sad that you have people who have all the wealth that they can possibly dream of and still want to hold on to that. And I totally understand that's how most wealthy people move, right? They do not want to be they do not want their levels, their status to drop. They want it to remain as high as possible. And I totally get that. And I am more of the, how about we eradicate poverty? Now I'm not saying give away half your wealth. I am not at all saying give away a quarter of your wealth. All I'm simply saying is help us to eradicate poverty. That's all I'm saying. You know? So the division's coming because half the white people are saying the Afrikaners who went overseas are lazy, liars, spineless. They don't want equality. They don't want uh, um, profit sharing or wealth distribution, and they're supremacists by nature because they only believe in a white utopia. And the ones that are staying behind are saying, this is our land, and we are willing to stay, we are willing to fight, we are willing to help build it. Now, my thing comes into this where it's like, people, you could have, you could have gone to Orania, you could have gone to Clairefontaine, you didn't have to go to America, but because you went to America, it shows that this really is not your land. Because why would you give up your citizenship for a refugee status in somebody else's land? I mean, okay, so if you believe that white supremacists and you believe in a white racist society and you believe, why didn't you just go to Orania? or Clairefontaine, like I'm saying, you didn't have to go all the way to America, right? Or unless you had a problem with the people in Oranje, the people in Oranje had a problem with you. That is why you decided, okay, let's go to America. You get what I'm saying? But then I still maintain that you couldn't have done it in a worse way possible, because your going to America was not a bad thing at all. It's the pretext in which you went over to America. That is my whole point. Because if you had to go there saying you're looking for greener pastures, that would be cool. I mean, there wouldn't be any fights or any discourse or any bad ill will or ill feelings towards you. Do you know what I'm saying? But because you went there claiming that you were being persecuted, that you were being genocided, and that's why you are leaving. And yet the study shows that your people, it may not be you specifically, but your people enjoy the riches, the wealth that this country has to offer. Now, I like to give examples in real time. So let's take the Afrikaans version of genocide. If you own 70% of the country's land and economic wealth, I can't see you being genocided. Whereas if you a Palestinian and you own a strip of land, and then you're constantly being bombarded under the pretext of self-defense, and every day you are your people are being killed hundreds at a time, bombs dropped, and you're trying to be erased. Your entire city or your little country, the strip of a country, is leveled to the ground. How can we compare the two? So which is a genocide? Because one, I think farm murders, and mind you, when they say farm murders are not always in the form that most people think. There's a recent case where a farmer, a farmer's wife, planned his murder. And it's sad that that gets recorded as a criminal act by black people looking to kill the farmer for something other than what the wife paid the killers to do. And that's sad because not all farm murders happen for the mere sake of a criminal activity, trying to take over the property or trying to steal. Some of it is lovers' quarrels. Some of it is maybe over insurance policies between the couples. But because it's a farmer who was killed, irrespective of the manner in which that death occurred, it gets regarded as a farm murder. People broke in, they tried to get the farmers, and that's not always the case. So we need to look at all these farm murders on a case by case basis so we can separate the black versus the white and the couples. Because a good number of these farm murders, when it comes to the farmers being murdered, a good number of them are actually criminally intended. Some of them are quarrels between the workers and the farmers. Some of them are people from outside getting into the farms and trying to steal stuff and get. And then some of it is actual wives stabbing, killing their husbands, getting people to come in and kill the husband. That's just the reality of it. But for some reason, they all just lumped into this one big pot of criminal activity by black people trying to take white farmers, and white farmers are being killed. And that's just not fair. So yeah, So, in closing, we have two groups: the white people who say the Afrikaner people, I mean, I'm talking about Afrikaans people mainly, right? Who say the counterparts, spreading lies, spreading fear, are not right and they should stop that. And then we have the Afrikaans people who claim that they are being genocided, they are being hated on just because of the color of their skin. And that is totally unwarranted, that's totally unfair. So, kudos to the white people who are standing up against the lies being perpetrated and the impact that those lies are having on South Africa. Because to be honest, at the end of the day, those Afrikaans people who went to America are giving South Africa a bad name, right? And it's making South Africa look bad in the eyes of the world. Now, people like Donald Trump and Megyn Kelly, who are on the right, are peddling those lies, making South Africa look even worse on the global stage, all because of a few disgruntled individuals who see themselves as superior to black people and do not want to share in the spoils of the country which they forefathers got in an ill gotten manner through bloodshed and theft. People, let it be known that if you are a proud South African and you claim that this is your land and you claim that you are South African, irrespective of your race, let us work together. Let us find solutions to the problem. Let us eradicate poverty. The real problem comes because there's a certain group of individuals who do not want to relinquish their grip on power, economic power, those that do not want to share in the spoils that they've enjoyed over so many years. I just wish that there were more white people like Rob herself, for example, who's willing to go into black spaces, willing to engage with black people, even if he doesn't have good intentions, even if he has his own agenda. But the mere fact that he's actually going into black spaces, conversing, hearing, even collaborating, I think that's a step in the right direction. Yes, I know Penuel has complained that Rob doesn't listen, but at least Rob is in your space. He at least attempts to try and bridge the gap between the haves and the have-nots. Do you know what I'm saying? So it works on both sides. I know that most of the time black people are willing to come into white spaces, but in most cases, it's white people who do not want black people in their spaces. That's from my personal experience. If you know of any other experience that's different, please let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's the general perception. Most black people see almost all white people as racist from a distance. It's only then when you get to know each other, then you like realize, oh wow, this person is not racist. But from a distance, everyone looks like. I'm sure from a white perspective, every black person is a criminal, right? And then from a black perspective, every white person is a racist. Until we meet in spaces, we get to know each other, then you realize, oh wow, we actually want the same things. We are actually striving and going through the same struggles. We're actually striving for better lives. We actually want sustainable living. We all want to be respected in societies. We all want better things for our families. So, what I'm simply saying is the division between the white people is warranted because there's the one side that's blatantly peddling lies, and there's the other side that's saying, no, this is not true. And to be honest, I really think that the true patriot white South Africans are the only ones who can actually solve that problem because no matter what black people do, it won't have a dent in the way white people feel. And it's only white people who can solve the white people's problems. Let me know what you think about this video. Was I on the money or did I totally miss it with this one? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we family, right? Holler.